Hello Leo, and welcome to your monthly forecast for December. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what you can expect, but then dive deep with the details, so please stay with me. This month sees the Sun and Mercury begin it in your sister fire sign of Sagittarius, and on the 4th we have a glorious new moon in that sign, but it's collaborating with Saturn, the planet of structure, for the first 4 days of this month, and therefore because it links into the new moon, the next month gives you a glorious opportunity to express to the full all your charisma. Now Saturn of course can be a more restraining influence, but if there is a relationship in your world that means a great deal to you, that you want to work very closely with the other person upon, and it doesn't have to be only a personal romantic tie, this alliance can be very, very helpful. Now, of course, the big talking point this month is that Uranus and Saturn recommence battle. This has been the most dominant planetary aspect of 2021. Actually, within 3 degrees, they started to aggravate each other again for about the last week of November. And they're going to be in conflict through to about the end of February. What does this mean for you? Well, they actually come into exact square on Christmas Eve. And it really is about a relationship that's linked to your role in life. So it could be a professional tie or a close personal one where your devotion to that tie, your loyalty, could be in some way challenged by another part of your nature that's wanting some kind of change, excitement, or new beginning in terms of your career or work. And it could be that the circumstances are pushing you to stay with how things are. Maybe that's what a partner expects, that's maybe what the wider family expects, but you could feel a little bit conflicted. And all of this has been going on a lot throughout this year. So it's not that you're not used to this energy, it's just recommencing. So please stay with me as I share more. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Also, you can get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning by clicking on the link beneath this video. I've been writing these for over 25 years. My work is featured by Britain's most read daily newspaper, The Metro, and you can get yours straight to that device each morning. And with year 2022 nearly upon us, if you'd like to get your forecast, your personal forecast for next year based on your time, date and place of birth, you can do so. Get the rest of this year free and a character analysis and 30% off by seeing the link beneath this video. Hello Leo, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for December. Neptune, the planet of dreams, has been twisting backwards since the 25th of June in the part of your scope to do with shared resources, devotion, intimacy. Now Neptune's a very dreamy planet at the best of times, but that may have created, especially as it's linked in to some lunations, a sense of uncertainty about exactly where you stand. So Neptune going forward from day one this month is something to really celebrate. It also forges a terrific link with Jupiter, the planet of growth, optimism and good fortune in your sector of relating. So if there is a special relationship that means a great deal to you, the combination of these two, who are the joint regents, the co-regents of the sign of Pisces, can really point to getting closer and feeling more comfortable with one another, and perhaps sorting out some of those financial issues too. Now also, as I mentioned, the first 4 days of this month do have the Sun in the sign of Sagittarius along with Mercury. This is your sister fire sign. Now Mercury may be technically debilitated in the sign of Sagittarius, but I actually think it's one of the mildest debilities. And I think this points towards you being in a good frame of mind. Also on the new moon of the 4th, that links to Saturn, the planet of structure, which like Jupiter is in your sector of relating. Now, Saturn is squaring with Uranus this month once more, which is a challenge for us all. And I think for you, it's more about professional relationships where there could be some tensions, but it's possible around a personal one too. You could be asked to make quite a few sacrifices this month, especially at work. And that might be quite hard to take because over the last few years, there's been quite a conflict going on for you between what you do for yourself and what you do for others. And doing a lot for others has been something that you have shown a lot of commitment to doing. But it gets to the point with Uranus's help where you perhaps want to try some different things. But it just depends on how this plays into the needs around a key relationship or how it's viewed by someone such as a parent in your situation, or maybe someone younger than you. It just depends. So with Saturn and Uranus in conflict, but this new moon linking positively to Saturn, I think if you want to show more self-expression and enjoy the more playful aspects of the festive season, you can do so. But I feel that there will be some thinking, some serious thinking that will need to be done around your longer term professional situation and how that is going to really inform the success of a close relationship. But also in the first 10 days of this month, Mars and Pluto are forging a very, very strong link. So if you're wanting to make some last minute physical changes to your home, ready to receive some guests, your drive to get everything done can be enormous. But by the 11th, Venus comes into an exact conjunction with Pluto. When these two are together, Pluto can bring politics to any situation. Venus brings charm, but of course the combination of the two could mean, for example, someone says, look, if you do this, cover this shift, or you do this job for me, I will promise you these rewards, but it doesn't always come through. So there's often leverage around relationships. But then equally, Venus conjunct Pluto in the 6th house could see you welcoming a pet into your world, which may seem a little bit of an unusual thing to expect, but the 6th house is governed is the influence for pets, and Venus is about affection and Pluto about deep bonds, so not entirely beyond the realms of possibility. Also, there could be a greater connection to an uncle or an auntie for you, because that is also governed by the 6th house. Venus conjunct Pluto can make us a lot more sentimental for sure. But on the 13th, Mercury does take its leave from Sagittarius and moves into the very practical Capricorn. Now, if you do need to make arrangements, you can be a brilliant host and rarely miss a trick when it comes to making sure that everyone's needs are met. And certainly Mercury moving into this area will help that. But on the same day, Mars travels into your sister fire sign of Sagittarius to replace Mercury. And this is really exciting. If you're single, Mars moving into Sagittarius is going to give you a much greater and enhanced sense of your attractiveness, and that's something to really savour. Mars is about drive, but it's also about desire and it's about action. In the 5th house, if you are single, despite the fact that there may be some practical things to attend to, like work, I feel that this just gives you a gusto, a real passion for living life to the full. So I think if it's possible with COVID regulations, you will be dancing into the wee small hours where possible. Now from the 16th through to the 21st, a glorious link between the Sun in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Aquarius. So this is very mutually receptive. Jupiter is also the ruler of Sagittarius, and the signs of Sagittarius and Aquarius have similarities, commonalities, both like freedom, both can be very democratic. So I think the playfulness that I feel can come to the fore this month could see you having a connection with someone that can actually be really, really lucky. And it could go all the way to romantic. It's just that obviously we've been living in an altered reality. It's not so easy to get up close and personal to people. But if you're lucky, and it could be through some kind of gathering to do with your work or in a most practical location, that suddenly there's a spark of attraction between you and someone, and you're soon laughing and connecting to each other in a marvellous way. Entirely possible with that glorious link between the Sun and Jupiter. It really can be quite lucky. But on the 19th we have a full moon in Gemini. And this just says to you over the next couple of weeks that you can't please all of the people all of the time. So you may have to make some choices, especially around your personal time management. Venus also goes retrograde on the 19th, which is why we've got two connections with Pluto exact this month, the 11th and the 25th. So Venus retrograde could work in lots of different ways in the sign of Capricorn, but particularly because its proximity is so close to Pluto. There could be a fated kind of quality to things. You may feel obligated to someone in some kind of way. You might want to help someone from the bottom of your heart and mean it without any strings attached at all. But just be aware that if someone does offer something and it does seem to be remarkably positive, just try to tease out what the potential motivation for that might be. Now the Sun moves on the winter solstice on the 21st into and triggering the last quadrant, the last cardinal quadrant of the year, the last 13 weeks. And it's an important point for you because although there has been this potential to play and be creative and have fun, and if you have children, enjoy their activities, the Sun moving to join Mercury, to join Venus, to join Pluto in the very practical 6th house. This is a no-nonsense area, and it is about making sure all the nuts and bolts of your plans for Christmas are getting tied down in the most efficient way. Now, Christmas Eve, Saturn and Uranus are exactly square. That could create some tensions, particularly if you're trying to dash away from work at home. You want a partner or other people in your world to be supportive, and there may be some tensions. I can only be truthful. But on the 25th, with Venus combining with Pluto, for all of us, if we can find a way to embrace the more spiritual dimension of this festive season, that would be a lovely thing to do. Now, the last week also sees a terrific link between Mars and Saturn. So if you have got a relationship which works well in the practical sense, so if you live together, you help each other out on the domestic load, but also come together to make it fun for everyone, you're going to breeze through this festive period. If you're with someone who doesn't tend to pull their weight so much, that could be something that really starts to stick in your craw. But on the 29th, Jupiter does move back into the sign of Pisces, and that can trigger some financial fortune just as the curtain comes down on this remarkable year. So that's something to really savour. So quite a complex month really, Leo, but there is potential to have fun. There is the potential for your finances, your longer term finances to improve, with Jupiter in that great link with Neptune and then moving into the sign of Pisces as the month comes to a close. But I think some kind of connection around a deep relationship is going to underpin this month. It's not just going to be a relationship that's based on the more lighter and fluffier sides of romance. I think there's going to be something that carries great depth of feeling for you, and you could find yourself becoming much more conscious of what an employer or a colleague means to you, or if you employ people, someone who works for you. There's some kind of real appreciation ramping up, but also if something isn't working, a greater understanding of what you may need to do next year in order to liberate yourself to be free for the right kind of people in your world. It's been a real pleasure being with you. I hope you have a lovely Christmas and Happy New Year, and goodbye for now.